grant you and your family and Palestinians victory. Ameen. Allahumma ameen. And lots of messages coming in like that.
Ameen.
So it's always Cape Town people, always very soft-hearted and very supportive.
Thank you.
Muna, I'm going to ask you about the fact that young people identifying in terms of the Palestinian struggle. We saw the rise of Black Lives Matter. Do you think it's very important that the Palestinian struggle begins to be seen together with issues like Black Lives Matter? Because at the end of the day in Palestine we are dealing with racism, aren't we?
Yeah. So I'll answer this in Arabic so Abdullah can translate and do something here.
Yeah, he has to do some work. It's far too easy for him.
And like people can hear our beautiful Arabic.
Absolutely.
بخصوص حركة السود مهمة، حياة السود مهمة، كانت يعني بقدر أحكي أنه كانت كمان من النقاط الفاصلة اللي بعدها أيضا العالم تحرك بعد ما شافوا مشاهد واقعية على أرض الواقع انتقلت إلهم عن طريق السوشيال ميديا اللي شافوا فيها هذا الظلم والاضطهاد اللي حصل، ومنها بلشوا يتحركوا ويتفاعلوا أكثر مع القضايا العادلة ضد الظلم والاضطهاد. وبالتالي إحنا كمان كفلسطينيين تعلمنا من هذا الشيء كثيرا، لأنه كما حدث مع حياة السود مهمة، والمشاهد العنيفة اللي شفناها لما الجندي دعس على راسه وخنقه ومات، هذا يوميا يحصل مع الفلسطينيين، اللي يوميا بتلاقي جندي إسرائيلي داعس على رقبة طفل أو شاب فلسطيني لحتى يخنقه ويموت. فتعلمنا من هذه الحركة كثيرا، وأيضا فكرة أنه الناس بدأت ترى الوقائع والحقائق عن طريق الناس الحقيقيين، بدون أي دراما، بدون أي تضليل، بدون أي كذب، بدون أي زيادة. كان أمر مهم لزيادة التفاعل وانتشار القضية بشكل أكبر في الآونة الأخيرة.
Okay.
You can translate, Abdullah.
He's been scribbling very fast there.
Yeah, I was trying to capture all of that so I don't miss any point, because she chat at me later. You know, Muna is very hard. She doesn't only shout at Israelis, you see. So with regards to Black Lives Matter, of course, it was a very turning point in the history of the Palestinian, you know, in the struggle of Sheikh Jarrah in particular, because, you know, people at that time managed to see like the act as it was happening in the United States, you know, with a policeman standing or like kneeling on the neck of George Floyd. So at that time, people also began, you know, to move to support justice and just causes like Black Lives Matter, and we saw the solidarity, like from Black Lives Matter towards the Palestinian, cause as well. So in Sheikh Jarrah and Palestinians generally, they also have learned from the Black Lives Matter struggle and from some of the methods and the strategies that they have used, especially the ones on social media. And it is also very important to remember that the incident that happened in the United States by that, you know, that act of kneeling on somebody's, you know, neck, that happens on a daily basis in Palestine.
Absolutely, yes.
Every single day we see pictures, and they don't really circulate as much, but we see them in our neighborhoods, whether it's in Sheikh Jarrah or in other neighborhoods, where there's always a soldier or a policeman, you know, kneeling on a child's neck to try and actually, you know, stop him from breathing, like, you know, and to keep, you know, dehumanizing us on a daily basis. And it's very important also, another point that Muna mentions is that like Black Lives Matter in Palestine also, people began to see, you know, the atrocities on the ground straight from the people who are living, you know, these atrocities, like Muna and her brother and the people in her neighborhood, the same way they saw it, you know, George Floyd on that day. So this connection is very deep, and we understand that we have learned from the Black Lives Matter a lot.
Muna, in terms of politics, there's been a lot of frustration in terms of Palestinian leadership in Palestine itself, the Hamas Palestinian Authority story. I'm going to ask you a difficult question. How do young people see their future politically within Palestine?
Yeah. I'll answer it in Arabic also. هذا سؤال صعب ومش سهل، بس بقدر أختصره بأنه إحنا كشباب فلسطينيين اليوم وصلنا لمرحلة من ممكن أحكيها بتم مليان من عدم الإيمان بأحزابنا السياسية للأسف، لأنه زمان الأحزاب السياسية كان لها دور كبير في على الأرض، لكن اليوم عمالنا بنشوف للأسف شديد إنه دورها بيقتصر لما يكون في انتخابات، وبيقتصر لما يكون بدهم مصالح سياسية معينة. وبالتالي اليوم إحنا كشباب فلسطينيين أعتقد إنه زاد إيماننا بأنفسنا إنه إحنا اللي ممكن نكون القيادة القادمة، إحنا اللي ممكن نحرك الشارع، وإحنا اللي بنقدر نحصل على ما نريد عن طريق أدواتنا الخاصة.
So it is important, you know, it's Mona says it's a very difficult question to answer. However, she would say, like in short, that unfortunately the youth of today have lost hope in the political leadership. That's because, you know, in the past, political leadership across the board, you know, they used to do a lot of work. But today they are unfortunately limiting themselves to only doing, you know, work during elections and, you know, whenever they need favors.
Yeah, we've heard this before in this country too, don't worry.
In South Africa. I mean, it's a repetitive, you know, struggle. And so today it's very unfortunate to say that the youth have you know, lost hope and faith in the political leadership, but they have like belief in themselves and on moving on the ground, you know, and mobilizing the masses on the ground, like what we saw actually in May in Jerusalem.
Mona, my next question, my final question, our interview has to come to an end, and of course, if you have enjoyed this evening's interview on Voice of the Cape, at 7 o'clock, Mona is addressing a public meeting. It's fully booked because of COVID, but it will be broadcast live on Voice of the Cape and a number of other platforms. So tune in at 7 o'clock again. Judge Siraj Desai will also be one of the guest speakers, and Muna will also be addressing the audience as well. But my final question to you, and that is about young people. What is your message to the young people of South Africa, to the young people of the United States and Europe? What must they do to support you in Palestine as another young person?
I can say it in English so people can like hear it from me directly. It is very important to act, not only to say and put like a lot of, it is very important to put like a lot of effort in social media because it works and we saw that.
Yes.
But we need actions too. So I think it is very important, my message to the youth, to like make events, demonstrations. I don't know what do you want to call it, but it is very important to put pressure on your government to cut the relationships with Israel, because every relationship with Israel is like it's you agreeing on me to be evicted, to be forcibly removed. So
evicted is a legal term. Forced removals.
Yeah, forced removed. So yes, thank you for correcting this. So it is very important to do something, to put pressure on your governments to stop the war crimes that Israel is doing on the land of Palestine, and that can we inshallah liberate soon, because I think Israel is the last occupation on the land, and all over the world, on earth. So I think also that no one in the world can like agree on what is happening in all over Palestine, not only in Sheikh Jarrah and Jerusalem. It is illegal. It's like ضد الإنسانية, against humanity and against every law in the world.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of violations of international law by the Israeli authorities is absolute legend. But Muna Al-Kurd, thank you for joining us. Ahlan wa sahlan bikum to Cape Town. Enjoy your visit, and
Inshallah.
we look forward to hearing you at 7 o'clock this evening on air again. But shukran.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for the listeners. And I want to add that boycott Israel is a very important way to defend and to support us Palestinians, because every rand, every US dollar, every kind of money that you put in the Israelis companies and illegal companies, of course, you pay with it. You allow them to buy a bullet to kill a Palestinian child.
Munir Kurd, shukran. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Drive Time 91.3. Always on the cutting edge.
Start your day the Mug and Bean